and have kicked off the permitting activities through baseline studies, and we'll start also the community consultation. So really looking forward to accelerating that project and moving it forward to a near-term mine development.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Dale Verrin. He is the CEO of Fortune Bay Corp. And Dale, it's great to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks to yourself, Steve. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to have you along. Excited to learn a bit more about what's going on in the company. I know you had some news out addressing what's going to be happening coming up. We'll talk about it in just a second. But for people maybe not familiar with the company, tell us a little bit about Fortune Bay.
Yeah, Fortune Bay is a exploration and development company. We listed on the TSXV under the symbol FOR, also listed in Frankfurt and on the OTC in the US. We have two main gold assets, the advanced assets with a considerable gold resource base that's been drilled out historically and potential to expand those resources. We also have some uranium assets in Saskatchewan on the Athabasca Basin, but recently really shifting our focus to advancing our gold projects and have farmed out or currently farming out our uranium assets that will be partner funded. So very exciting time for the company as we advance these two significant old gold assets in this tremendous gold market.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this news release you had out, because it really updated where each of those projects is at. And let's start with Goldfields. I know there's a lot of work that's going on there. Tell me a little bit about what's happening.
Yeah, so Goldfields is in northern Saskatchewan. A tremendous development asset, really checks a lot of the boxes in terms of a near-term mine. It's had historical work done on it, and we've obviously spent a lot of time updating all of that. We put out a PEA in 2022 at much lower gold prices than we see today, and that produced a robust set of economics. So we're looking to take that forward. We're actually doing an updated PEA at the moment, and that's really being done to show the project's intrinsic value at these higher gold prices. But of course, at higher gold prices, you can pull out more gold out of the ground. So we're looking at an increased resource that we can potentially mine there, and then the ability to take that forward into a PFS and FS stages. Also on the Goldfields project, we're starting the permitting activities for that project. We feel that the PFS and FS stages, because we have so much data, those can be compressed in terms of their timeline. But the permitting side is really the critical part. The project is endowed with a historical EIS from 2008, so it is approved, but it's for a much smaller project. So we're looking to increase that to incorporate a much larger scope under these high gold prices, and have kicked off the permitting activities through baseline studies, and we'll start also the community consultation. So really looking forward to accelerating that project and moving it forward to a near-term mine development.
And I would imagine what's going on around the world right now, local projects like you have in Saskatchewan, getting that approval, is a lot of these governments are trying to fast track things to make sure they have the best reward possible there.
Yeah, for sure. We've had tremendous support. Obviously, being in Saskatchewan, it's Canada's top-ranked jurisdiction. A real desire from government to see projects proceed there, and also a community that we in amongst a community up near Uranium City that understands mining. And so I think it's checking a lot of the boxes in terms of moving that forward in an accelerated fashion, given the historical data as well as this approved EIS from previously.
Okay, let's turn our attention to Mexico, because your other project is there. You're going to rename it Pomoa Rosa Project, and that's because I think it's the flower that grows in that particular area. So makes a lot of sense. Update us on what's going on there.
Yeah, so the change of name is really to signify a new start to that project. It's an historical project that our predecessor, Linear Gold, operated some 16 years ago. A historical resource now sits there around 1.7 million ounces of gold. It's a shallow resource, and there's really an opportunity here in amongst this gold market, and positive feedback we've had from the communities to restart this project. It sits in an incredible geological setting. The word world-class gets thrown around quite loosely in the industry these days, but it is truly world-class, and I've encouraged people to look at that on our website. It's a setting that's analogous to these giant porphyry systems. The gold that's been found to date in the project, the 1.7 million ounces, sits in the the shallower cover sediments. It's an epithermal type system, but the large porphyry system that sits beneath that remains unexplored, and significant copper, gold, and moly potential associated with that. So tremendous exploration opportunity, but also a development opportunity there with the existing Campamento deposit, which has that historical resource, as well as a nearby prospect, which has been drilled previously called Cerro Lamina, that has enough historical drilling, we believe, to support an inferred resource without further drilling. So we're currently busy looking at all that data, looking at the historical resources with a view to bringing that into a current 43-101, as well as identifying the growth potential around those two gold resources, and then the significant amount of potential in these other targets in that shallow cover sediments, and then also looking longer term to drill deeper into the porphyry system.
So Dale, when I was reading in the news, it talked about the potential to even restart by late this year. In fact, if everything goes well, it could happen fairly quickly.
Yeah, that's right. We're working a way to get the exploration restarted. A key component for the project is establishing exploration agreements with the communities. And because the project's been dormant for so long, we need to restart those community relationships. And we've been working at that over the past few months. Everything has gone exceptionally well. Meetings have been very positive and supportive to date, but it does take time to reach those agreements. And we not only just trying to reach the agreements, but building a strong social foundation that will support exploration and beyond.
Makes a lot of sense. Very exciting times for your company, Dale. Really appreciate your time as well. We'll continue to follow the story, okay?
Thanks, Steve. Good speaking to you.
Yeah, you as well. There's Dale Verron. He's the CEO of Fortune Bay Corp.